Hello, everyone, and welcome to our 2021 Marine Money Istanbul virtual event. Marine Money hosted a conference in Istanbul from 2003 to 2016, and Mia and I are very happy to be back, even if it is in virtual form. Indeed, we see this as a new opportunity, a new beginning perhaps, and we hope that we will be able to host a physical conference in Istanbul next year and meet you all face to face overlooking the wonderful Bosphorus. We have an event today of 3 sessions with a gap in between to recharge your batteries. The sessions will cover the development of Turkish shipping and a global shipping market review, a discussion about the major macro issues facing shipping in 2021, and of course, as with all of our Marine Money events, a debate about which shipping options are available and the trends in the ship finance market. It is true that over the last year, our normal lives of traveling, meeting people, dinners and drinks has all changed. Economies have struggled, and even now, many countries are still in lockdown due to the COVID pandemic. But our shipping industry has continued to operate very successfully during this year. Global trade continues so that we can eat and have our houses heated, so that power and energy continues to be supplied, and so that as much as possible and for as many people as possible, this situation is manageable until the vaccine rollout will return our lives to something near normal. The shipping industry has never been more important to the global well-being than it is at this moment. We will now turn to our first session in our Marine Money Istanbul 2021 event. We are very honored, first of all, to welcome Mr. Tamer Kiran, Chairman of the Turkish Chamber of Shipping. Tamer will give us some comments on the development of Turkish shipping over the past years and a vision for the future. Just before we start, please note that during Tamer's presentation, the audience can send in questions using the question box in the info panel to the right of your screen. You can write your questions in here. Those questions will come to me, and at the end of the presentation, I will ask a few of those questions on your behalf. And with that, I would like to ask Tamer Kiran, Chairman of the Turkish Chamber of Shipping, to take the screen. Tamer, please.
Thank you, Kevin. It is very nice to seeing you after quite a long time. And I'm very pleased to be with you, with this audience once again, especially after these very difficult days. Distinguished participants and panelists, welcome to the Marine Money Istanbul Forum. I'm greeting you for and on behalf of the Turkish Chamber of Shipping. The Marine Money conferences, which have been held for a long time, contribute to the gathering of professionals operating in a wide range of field of activities in maritime sector. I consider this organization very important, which allows for considerations and remarks on the latest developments in the world markets, and I would like to express our pleasure for contributing to the event as the Turkish Chamber of Shipping. The COVID-19 pandemic, which started to be effective all over the world from the earliest days of 2020, deeply affected our health on the one hand and our social life and the economy on the other hand. Although the number of cases are on the rise again nowadays, especially in Turkey, I believe that we will put an end to the war against COVID in a time not too far away by following the measures with a bit more patience. I hope to come together in our next meetings under conditions where we can be physically closer. I would like to begin my speech by giving brief information about the Turkish Chamber of Shipping. The Chamber was founded in 1982, having its main office in Istanbul, operates with 9 branches and 15 representative offices throughout Turkey. The Chamber is the roof organization of the Turkish maritime sector, with its 48 profession committees and approximately 10,000 members. Ensuring the development of maritime industry in accordance with our national strategies and policies and our international obligations, as well as facilitating of professional activities, establishing common rules, advising the relevant authorities on maritime issues, and simultaneously to protect the discipline, ethics, and solidarity of the maritime profession are among our activities and objectives. The Chamber is the member of 11 international organizations, including International Chamber of Shipping, the Baltic International Maritime Council, and the FONASPA, and etc. Distinguished guests, the maritime sector leads the sustainment and development of world trade with its global character. Today, the maritime industry is at the center of world trade as it was in the past. Although the maritime technologies, the vessels, and the needs of customers have changed remarkably, the basic principles of the trade, of the maritime trade, remain the same. The maritime industry has played and continues to play a very important role in the fight against COVID-19 by facilitating the transportation of vital products and goods. Despite the difficult times, most of the ports remained open for cargo operations. During the pandemic, the whole world has clearly seen that the maritime industry has a vital importance. The share of the international shipping industry has increased. Throughout these difficult days, the people working both on vessels and at ports have fulfilled very important duties in the survival of economies, meeting social needs, and ensuring the sustainability of the supply chain. Thus, we were able to access these products, having great importance in the process of sustaining our lives, which already became difficult with the restrictions. In this respect, I would like to once again express our gratitude to all seafarers and maritime employees who have enabled the continuation of maritime transportation during the difficult periods. Distinguished guests, according to the IMF, the International Monetary Fund data, the global economy shrank by 4.9% in 2020. This recession is the worst economic development since the 1929 Great Depression. Global stock market data has experienced the sharpest decrease since 1987. The International Labour Organization stated that 400 million full-time workers worldwide lost their jobs due to the pandemic, while there was a 10% decrease in the income of the working people. However, we foresee that this negative picture we are experiencing at the global level due to this pandemic will improve gradually in 2021. The global economy is expected to grow by 5.5% in 2020 and 4.2% in 2022. Medium and long-term improvement will be possible by increasing the sustainability and resilience of the maritime transportation sector. During this period, it is expected that the global growth rate will develop positively, and there will be an increase in maritime trade with the increase in industrial and agricultural production. The maritime industry, which is described as blue economy, contributes to the overall Turkish economy by about $18.4 billion, and its share in gross domestic product is around 2.5%. The Turkish-owned fleet ranks the 15th in the world with a total capacity of 28.9 million deadweight tons and approximately 1,500 vessels, out of which 5.4 million deadweight tons under the Turkish flag and 23.5 million deadweight tons under the flag of convenience. Last year, 496 million tons of cargo were handled at our ports. Most of the handling is carried out by the ports operated by the private sector. Although the handling amount decreased in the second quarter of 2020 due to the pandemic, it is observed that the amount of cargo handling has increased by 2.6% in total throughout the year throughout the 2020 compared to the year 2019. Currently, there are 84 active shipyards in Turkey with a total production capacity of 4.6 million deadweight tons per year. We have 33 floating docks and 11 dry docks. The shipyards are able to build various types of ships which use different types of energy-driven engines, such as LNG, battery, etc. On the other hand, our country has an important place in the field of yacht building. The mega yacht building orders are given to the Turkish yachts industry from many countries. Turkey ranks in the third place in the yacht building on the basis of length and mega yacht orders in 2020. Turkish shipbuilding industry boomed since the 2000s, and in 2008 it reached the fourth place in the world in terms of number of ships ordered. Despite the cancellations due to the crisis started in the 2008, the sector maintained its competitive advantage significantly in certain segments, thanks to the factors such as qualified workforce, capability to make spatial and high-quality production, and its proximity to European customers. Having smaller shipyards in the country has created an advantage, and our shipyards have important place in the market in terms of maintenance and repair activities. Furthermore, since 2010, the shipyards have started to realize naval shipbuilding projects successfully. There are three main product groups in which our country managed to rank among the top of the world export rankings as a whole in terms of export numbers. The first of these product groups are fishing vessels. New building fishing vessels export is the most important product among the export items of the Turkish shipyards. Tugboats are another product group. We rank sixth in the world in terms of tugboat exportings. On the other hand, we were ranked the 10th in ferry export with an annual amount of $200 million turnover in 2020. In recent years, the ship recycling sector is another prominent sector in our country. An important part of recycling activities in the world is centered, as you know, in Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, and in Turkey. Our country ranks fourth in place in the world ship recycling industry on LDT basis, with having 8 green ship recycling facilities conforming to international standards, and these facilities carry out their activities with EU regulations. Distinguished guests, today and in the future, cybersecurity will be one of the most important applications of maritime trade due to the increasing digital applications on vessels and ports and their connection to information networks. On the other hand, maritime security is also very important for the continuity of maritime trade. It is extremely important for the maritime trade and seafarers' safety that the success to be shown in the fight against piracy in the West Africa. The vision of our country on maritime safety and security is to establish full compliance with IMO regulations in order to achieve the goal of safe, secure, and efficient shipping on clean seas. The expectations from the maritime sector are to increase maritime awareness based on safety culture and to be prepared against changing threats in security issues. New trends are emerging in the world trade and so in the maritime industry due to the many factors such as shifts in global production markets, developments regarding the sustainability of production and consumption changes in energy production and consumption areas, technological innovations, climate change, and finally the pandemic. Accordingly, the Turkish maritime industry strives to comply with the new opportunities and new markets. These trends require being proactive in order to get the highest possible share from new trade routes and new markets as the country. For this reason, it is required to carry out the necessary studies to analyze the security threats that may hinder the sustainable growth of the maritime sector in a timely and effective manner and to ensure security in the maritime trade routes. Dear guests, the labor force of the maritime sector is qualified seafarers. Although the studies on unmanned vessels and fully automated vessels are continuing, it is foreseen that the need for seafarers will not decrease. On the contrary, will gradually increase in the near future. On the other hand, developing and changing technologies in shipbuilding, new rules established in the sector, and geopolitical developments in the world have changed the training needs of seafarers. Today, traditional seafarer trainings, which are completed with the practical trainings on board following the academic training, are insufficient. Many new training areas and subjects, such as training for special purpose ships, the use of electronic devices, leadership and team management, having knowledge on international law and international conventions, quality management systems, safety training, legislation on environmental pollution, and the use of technical equipment have been included in the training of seafarers. All these technological and environmental innovations and developments create the need for qualified workforce. In this regard, the need for academic institutions which closely follow the developments in the world and train qualified crew is increasing day by day. Every year, in Turkey, around 1,100 students graduate from faculties in Turkey. Roughly 750 of them from the deck department and 350 of them from the marine department. And these students are equipped with the ocean-going competency and brought to the international maritime sector. As of 2020, Turkey has roughly 141,000 active seafarers in total, including approximately 42,000 officers and 99,000 ratings with active qualification certificates. Our country is one of the major seafarer supplier countries in terms of quantity. Dear participants, the change and transformation process in the maritime sector has also great importance for the Turkish straits, which are geopolitical bridges on one of the world's most important sea routes. Around 80,000 vessels pass through the Turkish straits per year, of which 38,000 ships sail through the Istanbul Strait and 42,000 ships sail through the Çanakkale Strait. The number and tonnage of vessels passing through those straits are increasing every year with the increase in trade volume. In this respect, when we consider the heavy traffic, Turkey provides necessary facilities to the global maritime industry as the most convenient and security supply hub. Istanbul is one of the biggest bunker supply ports in the world and second biggest in the Maritime and Black Sea region. In 2020, about 2.3 million tons of bunkers have been supplied to the ships transiting the Turkish straits. In addition to bunkering, vessels also have the opportunity to meet their other supply demands, repairs, and crew changes, especially in Istanbul. Distinguished guests, by its nature, maritime industry is a business sector which requires high amount of capital and long-term financial credit. For investments to be made in the maritime industry, alternative investment instruments are now preferred instead of conventional ones. Especially after the crisis in 2008, conventional shipping finance has changed significantly and new methods have been introduced to the maritime industry. Today in this forum, I'm looking forward to hearing about the topics that will be introduced by the panelists about the present and the future of financing instruments with great interest. I hope that the Marine Money Forum, Istanbul Forum will contribute to the interactions of all our stakeholders with each other, and I greet you all respectfully. Thank you. Kevin?
Yes.
That was my
Thank
speech.
you. Thank you.
To you.
Thank you very much, Tamer, for that extremely interesting speech. We've had 2 or 3 questions from the audience. I would like to ask you those now, please. The first question is, from the slide which you showed, there seems to be much more Turkish controlled tonnage under foreign flag than Turkish flag. And the question is, what is the main reason for this? And is there an attempt being made to increase the number of Turkish flagged vessels?
Thank you. Actually, well, the Turkish ship owners have preferred to fly Turkish flag up until late 1990s. In that year, at the end of it was 1999, the government established the Turkish International Ship Registry, which was a kind of registry that was intended to provide more convenient operational facilities to the Turkish ship owners compared to the conventional national registry. And that went on for some time. I would say, for about 10 years. But since 2010, the Turkish ship owners began to prefer to fly convenience flags rather than the Turkish flag. I mean, that is simply because of the reasons very well known to every ship owner or to every people in the maritime industry. I mean, easier operational facilities, lack of crew, lack of Turkish crew, because we have to employ 50% Turkish, minimum 50% Turkish crew still on the Turkish International Registry, whereas we have the liberty to employ any nationality under a flag of convenience flag. I mean, this one and a few others drove the Turkish ship owners prefer foreign flag. Is there an intention to go back to Turkish flag? I wouldn't. There is not too much. How should I say? Too much intention for the time being to do that among the Turkish ship owners.
Okay.
It's the reality. 82%.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the reality. When you look at it, is the same everywhere in the world.
Exactly. Let me follow on another question now. I mean, you mentioned there are 140,000 Turkish seafarers. The question is, has the exchange of Turkish crews been very problematic over the last year with the travel restrictions due to the COVID pandemic?
Well, 141,000 are not currently working on board the ships. This is the figure which, according to the state's records, are actively keeping their seaman books. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they are currently working on board the ships. They may or they may not. So, yes, due to the pandemic, we have realized huge difficulties. There have been crew who had to remain on board for, I would say, 10 months, sometimes 11 months. But thank God those days remained in the past and will never happen again. But yes, last year we have seen very, very difficult times, very difficult days to replace the Turkish the crew in general, as many other ship owners did.
Thank you. One more question: the protection of the environment and the discussion about new fuels and new propulsion is critical for shipping in the future. What is the guidance which the Chamber of Shipping is giving to its members?
Currently, I mean, we are by organizing various facilities, various conferences, by inviting experts, we are trying to make the industry fully aware of what the potential changes are, because it is not a static issue. It is a very dynamic. It changes quite frequently. Up until a few years ago, we were talking about LNG-driven engines. Now we are talking very different ones. Methanol, I mean, fuel cellars, and so on. Therefore, we are trying to keep our members, especially ship owner members, up to date on the developments. Apart from that, currently we are executing a study to find out how the Turkish fleet will be affected by the new rules, by making a kind of survey, so that everybody will become fully aware that the Turkish fleet, or up to what percentage of the Turkish fleet, will be able to meet the new requirements, and which ones will have to stay out of the game. Sure. We are currently making a study in that, which we will share with our ship owners members.
Thank you. And just a final question. I don't know how much you will be able to comment, but there have been recent press reports about the new Istanbul Canal, which is planned, which will link. It'll be a new link between the Black Sea and the Sea of Marmara. And the question is, what do you think of this idea, and what do you think is the likelihood of success?
Canal Istanbul is a state project. It is very important. It is officially announced, and the necessary preparations are under execution. The government is very much dedicated to build this canal. As Turkish Chamber of Shipping, we are interested with the shipping part of this project, and to have an alternative canal, yes, can very well be considered as an opportunity, as we have seen the problem in Suez Canal very recently. So, apart from the political issues, because it has got a lot of concern, a lot of different parts to be considered. As Turkish Chamber of Shipping, we are concerned only for, concerned for the shipping part of it, and for the shipping part, to have an alternative will be an option for the ship owners.
Perfect. Mr. Kiran, thank you very much for speaking with us today. As I said at the beginning, we sincerely hope that in 2022, Marine Money will be able to come to Istanbul and host our conference, and we can meet with you and all of your Turkish shipping colleagues face to face. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin. We are really looking forward to it. I'm sure everybody is almost quite fed up with this. Yeah, I mean, it is working. It is working. Yeah. It prevents unnecessary time consuming, unnecessary expenses, fine, but people do need to meet each other, that's for sure.
Exactly. Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Kiran. Thank you.